Hey, what's up guys, Aaron here. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the loans email that a lot of you guys got if you had a loan with Celsius. So this is the document that you got. I'm going to go through the document, then I'm going to talk a little bit about things you should do, including 2 Telegram groups that you want to join. They both have to do with loans. There is then a very important Twitter Spaces if you want to learn more about the refinancing and the 3 different companies that are going to be offering refinancing if you had a loan. And I'm also going to take a look at what Simon Dixon had to say about this as well at the end of this video. So if you don't do anything, you will receive what is called the set-off treatment, which I'll cover below. If you wanted something other than the set-off treatment, you will need to submit this form on the website. So you got an email with a link, and I think there is a password as well. If you don't want the set-off treatment, you will need to submit the form by January 17th. So this is somebody who sent me their email, and this is what it would look like for you, just obviously with different numbers here. So the first thing you'll see is your collateral. So in this person's example, it would be $10,032.11. Then you would have your actual loan. This is how much you got from Celsius. In this person's example, $3,500. So the retail borrower post set off claim, which again is what you would get if you did nothing, if you didn't respond to this email, if you did not submit anything to Stretto, would be $6,532.11. You take your collateral, you subtract your loan, and that is what you are left with. So if this person did absolutely nothing, they would end up with an earn claim, like most people in Celsius that just had money in their earn account, for $6,532.11. Now the percent that we get back will be a percent of this $6,532. So if Celsius says that we get back, say, 50% in liquid crypto, that means you would get back whatever 6532 is divided by 2. You'd get back 50% of this amount in crypto. And then if we got 17% back in stock or equity, then you would take 17% of this amount, and that's how much you would get back in equity. Essentially, you will have an earn claim for this amount right here. So the first option is clicking this box, the retail advance obligation repayment election, full repayment of the loan. It says here, I elect to repay the entire principal amount of my loan. So that would mean you want to pay back your entire loan of $3,500 in this account. So why would somebody want to send Celsius $3,500 of US dollars, which I'll get to a little later in this video? Why would somebody decide to do that? Simon Dixon lays it out pretty well, and again, none of this is financial or legal advice. Simon says that for people who do not live in the United States, so those who live outside of the US, to consider taking just the default set-off treatment and not repaying the loan. But for those in the United States, obviously you can consult your tax person, but it may save you some taxes to pay off the loan and receive more Bitcoin or Ethereum back tax-free. If a US customer took out a Bitcoin collateralized loan, so for example with Celsius, let's say you gave them Bitcoin as collateral, paying back the principal enables you to elect some of your collateral back. Simon says it may strengthen the argument that there was no tax disposal and could reduce your tax burden based on the, quote, same asset in, same asset out principle. He goes on to say in the UK and most common law countries that have a beneficial ownership construct, Celsius customers have likely already disposed of beneficial ownership on entry to Celsius, so there is likely no tax benefits. So again, not financial advice, but if you live in the United States and you decide to pay back your entire principal, where I'll get here where you can actually pay back some of your principal, but it has to be at least $25,000, you can then possibly get benefits or not have to pay as much for taxes. So that leads me to this next little check mark, the retail advance obligation repayment election, but partial repayment of the loan. It says, I elect to repay only a portion of the entire principal amount of my loan, such portion not to be less than $25,000. I understand that if I make a partial repayment of my loan and such repayment is less than $25,000, my repayment will not be honored and I will receive the set-off treatment. So this is for people who I guess have their own unique tax circumstances, who want to pay off some of their loan amount, some of basically their principal, but not all of it. But it has to be, again, over $25,000. And before I go to the refinancing election, I want to jump down to the bottom item 3. Basically, if you decide to pay off your loan, you can choose if you want to be repaid in Bitcoin or Ethereum. So I am not a tax person, but my guess is that if you used Bitcoin as collateral, you may want to receive Bitcoin back. Or if you used ETH as collateral, you may want to receive ETH back. And before I go to the refinancing option, none of this changes what happens with the set-off amount. So this person, even if they decided to send $3,500 to Celsius, and then they send them, let's say, $3,500 back as Bitcoin, and there is a time frame where they will be able to obviously hope the price of Bitcoin doesn't go really high or really low to make it equal. Regardless of whether or not they decide to send that $3,500 and get an equal amount of Bitcoin or Ethereum back, they will still have this $6,532.11 claim that will, again, be treated as an earn claim. That is unless you click this option right here, which is the refinancing election. It says, I would like to refinance my loan. I understand that the refinancing process will begin on or after the anticipated effective date of the plan, and by making this election, or clicking this little box, if the refinance transaction is consummated, I will not receive the liquid crypto distribution I otherwise would be entitled to receive under the plan. So that leads me to summarize it with Tony's example right here. He says, item 2, the first box, if you intend to pay the principal off yourself in full. So that would be right here, the first box, you want to pay it in full repayment of the loan. Next, to the second box, you intend to pay back the principal, but not all of it, with a minimum amount of $25,000. So that would be this box right here. And the third box, you intend to refinance with a third party. If you want the set-off, then do not click any of these. And all the talk about the third party will be in this Twitter Spaces that is going to happen this Friday at 12 p.m., probably Arizona time, because that's where I am right now. So I will include the link to this as well, because if you are curious about refinancing and you want to hear all of this talked about and have all of these questions answered by David Adler, who most of you guys know is the lawyer who is representing the borrower ad hoc group, you definitely want to check out this Twitter Spaces. I do believe this space will be recorded, so if you can't make it live, I will try to include it somehow in a future video for you guys. But if you have any questions about loans, again, this is going to be the place to get your questions answered, or there are 2 different Telegram groups that I will include the links to below. And if you have any questions about loans, you can join those groups and ask your questions there. So that's basically it, guys. Just wanted to make this quick video. I will include all the links that I've talked about in the video description below. And it's good that this is coming to a close. And I'm hoping that this is the final chapter for the Celsius bankruptcy. So that's it, guys. Till next time, talk with you soon, and bye for now.